Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the player ranked #1 in the world by Dark in the blue. The final boss, it's Dark. Up against one of the most creative Protoss out there. Not just a low energy pun, but the appropriate introduction to the player in the red, Creator. A best of 3 Protoss versus Zerg showdown, where either Creator will come up with the newest and most dramatic clickbait strategy, or Dark will rip him apart. And whichever one you're rooting for, it'd be awesome if beforehand you could smash that like button and maybe even subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we... Yeah, quickly, there's Zerglings in the... 1,394 likes on this video on this cast. I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways while Dark's still playing, so like another 2 weeks or so. But hopefully you've had a good day so far. Thank you for tuning in. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. Then it's a disaster. He's lost 3 probes to like 4 Zerglings. What is this? This is unacceptable levels of damage. They just wandered 4 Zerglings in. This isn't Bronze League heroes, or at least I'm reasonably sure. 4 probes. 5? Really? Barely gets away. But the Zergling speed is done, and he's gonna go for it! Oh, the micro, and he gets it! 5 probes dead! It's an unmitigated disaster for Creator to start things off. I have no idea. Well, I know how the Zerglings got in. I don't know why the Zerglings got in. Dark sneaks out early on. Creator calling his bluff, but there was no bluff to call. And now Dark, well, making that many Zerglings early, it was 6 to 8, does cut into your economy. Dark doesn't have a massive lead. Emotionally, yes. Physically, not so much. So he will be taking some damage. Back at home, the drones are pulled off the line. Try to pin him up against the extractor, but already 3 drones. 4. Doesn't go for it there. 4 drones dead, so already evening out some of that damage. Though, of course, Adepts are significantly more costly than a handful of Zerglings. Damage is adding up. Makes an Evo chamber. Much harder to just pick off, but in comes the Oracle again, and, well, certainly could have been worse, but 6 drone kills. Now, the 3rd base, Oracle overhead, and Dark's gonna back off. And the worker counts are about even. Despite the early damage, it comes at a cost. But Brenda, get back there! What are you doing? Oh my god, how many times? Shut up, Susan. You're part of this. You're part of the problem. I don't... Sorry. 8 kills. The Queen's completely out of position multiple times. And Creator definitely making up a lot of the ground he lost early on, with constant and very appreciable oracle damage. 3, 4 more kills. The Queen's still wandering around trying to find anything. Zerglings will kill an Adept or 2. Oracles come back in, getting their obligatory orange health after getting as many kills as possible. Otherwise, like, you gotta use the whole buffalo with that Oracle, so... Even a Void Ray and Void Ray on the way. Interesting choice. I think that's just straight up defense. Really? Creator? The Sport, 1 HP. 1. Just as many as he needs. 11 kills. The Dark may never financially recover from this. And now the recall on the Oracles in the back corner. I don't know what... Again, it's not a situation of me not knowing what went wrong, but I'm not sure why it went so wrong here. It seems like they're both playing the game at slightly different points, where Dark somehow got Zerglings in and killed a bunch of probes, but then Creator just does the most standard Oracle timing and ends up killing 19 drones. So, devastating economic harassment, but the recession is starting to end now as both players have teched up and gotten their 3rd bases online. Dark is probably the least worried about having a low economy as Zerg. I've never seen another Zerg player do so much with technically less income than their opponent. The idea that Zerg has to have more bases, more income because their units just aren't as good is somewhat dated in general. but specifically for Dark, he just makes it work with whatever he has. But Creator is looking to follow this up. He's got Blink on the way. He's got a bunch of gates. Does he even have a forge? No. This is a straight up Blink timing, where he's going to get up in Dark's grill and make him defend against this. Unfortunately, Dark already has Hydras on the way with +1 ranged attack and Hydra range, the groovy spines. So Creator is doing a pretty committed Blink Stalker timing against Dark, who's doing exactly what he needs to counter it. Of course, those Hydras, there's not enough of them yet to really push this back. There's not that many Zerglings. There are Queens. He's even adding a proxy gate here to help things out. But Dark should have enough to reliably defend. That is more than enough Hydras. There's really not that many Stalkers back there. Once +1 ranged attack is done, Creator has to really think about what he's going to be doing after this. 69 drones is a perfect economy. A nice place to be for Dark at this stage of the game. And now 10 more Hydras in production. The stasis wards are a bit of a kicker here. Dark is very aware of them, but there's still a lot of potential to cut the army into bite-sized pieces. Metaphorically, of course. Protoss don't have mouths with which to eat them. A handful of Zerglings get caught in stasis and actually trip up some of the Stalkers here. +1 ranged attack is done. Transfuses on the Hydras to keep them intact. And Creator warping in a few Zealots. He doesn't have charge, just meat shields there. This is not working. It's only going to get worse. There's too many Hydras now, and Hydra speed is about to be completed. There's that one Void Ray that was thrown in. Once again, I think it was more of a defensive tool. Creator has a lot of supply, but +1 ranged is done, and the Hydras are really going to benefit from it. Creator is poking the bear right now, and Dark is quite a bear indeed. And the Adepts to absorb some of the damage. He's just going for it. Creator's like, no, I'll do it. I'll do it. Don't do it, Creator. He has +1 Hydras. You underestimate my power fields. I thought, well, now look at the supply. Creator, the destroyer of his own army. He blunked directly into the Hydras and is now getting decimated. It's a clearly and utterly predictable disaster. I don't know why Creator thought, like, he's still putting the pressure on, but Dark, I think Dark is a little confused as to what he's doing. Like, what are you doing? Why are you still here? Well, there's nothing to go back to. There's no tech, there's no forge, there's no Templar. He doesn't even have charge. It's just Blink Stalkers. And not for long at this rate. The Hydras are chasing him down. I think Dark playing very careful because he doesn't want to risk throwing from this point, but he has plenty of economy. Creator's timing he just can't get onto the creep. +2 ranged attack is going to be done momentarily. Lurkers on the way. He doesn't even need, like, there is no robo. There's no detection. The Oracles died alongside the fight. This obstinate attack will run into the constant obstacle that is Dark. And the Hydras are more than enough. Creator tried to make a square peg fit in a non-existent hole, but that just does not sound like a particularly great time. Creator still warping in. If Dark, for some reason, overcommits or tries to transition into another tech, or I don't know what he's waiting for, really. But probes are dying. Shield battery overcharge. Seismic spines, aka lurker range, is done. And Creator still making a show of it, but this battle was won several minutes ago. And now we're just watching a very dramatic death animation. You know, that's appropriate for a Blizzard game, though. That's like half the plot points. Well, the Stalkers are super dead. Dark overwhelms them and absolutely crushes. Game 1 to the final boss. Applaudable effort. Creator so unpredictable. Just when you think he'll retreat from an army that's clearly going to crush his, he blinks forward. The madman. Well. But Dark did not... That's like a Zest move. But nobody is Zest. Alright. Citation unneeded. That's the kind of move that Zest would do, and then players would flinch. Like, do you know something I don't? Like, do you know... do you win that? Like, but Dark, not even a moment of hesitation, not even a moment questioning. He just knew Creator was making a mistake and took full advantage of it. But, I miss you, Zest. At least we still have Dark for now, but... With the, we haven't really had a Protoss. Hero was good, but he's kind of like a drunken brawler. And Max Pax is technically competent, but he doesn't have that sort of emotional vibe. I don't know how to put it, but the best Protoss in the history of StarCraft 2 have always been more poker players than strategy gamers. Like Parting, SOS, MC, historically, have all been these sort of, I probably won't, but I might. Like, always in one hand, holding an apple, and the other hand holding a knife. And, not sure what that analogy is supposed to mean, but both confusing and dangerous. Just how Protoss is supposed to be. And I think Creator sometimes tries to emulate that. I don't think it's an active effort. But he's so... It kind of comes off like flailing as opposed to confidence. Just, that game was like, well, what if I blink forward? I have not seen such a premeditated mistake in quite a while. Sure, players will get drawn into sort of rough situations. You know, that's most of your games, assuming you've played in the last 5 years. But he knew what he was doing. He committed to it. The idea was there, and he may do it again, as Twilight Council is on the way in Game 2. This time around, it's Twilight first, with a robo behind. Alright. Dark Templar. Shrine to Dark seems like a dangerous yet appropriate move. But also, wait, did the Overlord spot the Twilight? It spotted the robo timing, which is a bit of a giveaway. And it's gonna be 50 Shades with Glaives. Alright, Glaved Adepts is the choice. A strong one in most cases. But in this one specifically, well, the thing about Glaved Adepts is how hard it is to judge their commitment. 4 to 8 Adepts is easily holdable with Zerglings and Queens. Once you get into double digits, though, is when, and a Shrine to Dark as well. Once you get into double-digit Adepts and you don't have Roaches or Banelings, well, that's an existential threat. And the reason Protoss don't just go for that is because if they get countered, there's almost nothing at home. Like, you don't have Stargate units to protect you from Roaches and Lings. Just very simply, it's do or die. It doesn't give you the sort of flexibility the Stargate does. But it's certainly still a dangerous option. We're seeing it more and more. Once again, it's one of those meta shifts that kind of rotates around. Kind of like Roach All-Ins in Terran versus Zerg. Like, are Terrans building Banshees or not? That's a kind of similar vibe on that, too. Well, here comes the Prism. There's a Dark Shrine behind it, so it's a bait and switch here. Though Dark does have the, a single Spore Crawler near the Roach one. Overlord gonna spot all this. The next warping will likely be Dark Templar. But 8 Adepts. A dangerous number. The Queens. Trying to drive them out. No dice for now. Now, diving into the main. 4 DTs in the main. Oh, no. It's a disaster. He's moving the Spore. Oh, he knows how bad it is. Oh, it's really bad. Wow, just a classic DT rush. Well, creator DT rush in this case, but he's trying to burrow the spore, but the spore is dying. Wow. Wait, did he just win the game? Oh, the queens! The queens saved the day! Multiple spores! The queens would transfuse on the unburrow. Oh, but then, okay, well. All right, well. Ah, he just died. Well, that. This is why people hate Protoss. All right, game 3. Bit of a throwaway there. Well executed in every sense. We're going to Oceanborn. I do wonder why we don't see Twilight. I'm coming up with my own rationales for it. But it does seem to be having a lot of success lately. I think, and now, confirmation bias, I think, in a lot of these series. Where I probably wouldn't end up casting series where somebody attempted 2 DT all-ins and then died in 6 minutes, failing them. So, I think that is also something to consider. Like, for everyone who wonders, like, is balance like this? Or is this the only strategy nowadays? Or anything like that. Remember, of the games we're watching, if you watch a series every day, like 30 days in a month, right? That's the last count. There are hundreds of professional series every month. So it's already the top like 5 to 10%. And that means we're missing all the best of 3s that end in 12 minutes, or a lot of the time the mirror matchups that also many times end in 12 minutes. But like, as both myself and analytics agree that not as popular overall. But like and subscribe and earn your right to complain about the lack of variety. Anyways, here's more dark. Alright. Will he try it again? I think just going for the Twilight again. Maybe not following it up with the Dark Shrine, but keeping that threat there. And he's starting Warp Gate. And then cancels it. I assume Dark is going to keep checking it. Not trying to be a little clever about it. Starts the Stargate, though. He starts Warp Gate and cancel. It doesn't cost anything to cancel an upgrade before it's finished. So, just trying to fool Dark into thinking it might not be a Stargate then. But you know what they say, fool me once, and I won't be fooled again. So. Stargate on the way. I'm still wondering what happened to that first game. The Adepts completely out of position. It was such a hectic start. Hopefully we make it a little further than that. Oracle's on the way. Yeah, something like this, I think, happened, which is the Adepts go out, the Zerglings come in. You can't explain that. And here we go. 1 probe. 2 probe. 3 probe. Red probe. Yeah, he got 3. But the probes decided they had enough and fought. I think that was a better... Well, 1, it was a better defense. He also has probes. And 2, just fighting with the probes seems to be a better option than trying to run away. Because you will kill the Zerglings. It's just going to be painful, though. Some intense deja vu there with the Adept getting... Oh, it's a Void Ray first! Oracle coming in. Queen. Some joint pain off the creep. Oh. Creator's Oracle micro hit. No, wait, I don't want to say anything. Don't say anything till the Oracle has moved on with its life. Creator's Oracle micro is. There. Okay. Void Ray comes out. Gonna try to clear the course. Knocks out the Overlord. Zerglings looking to delay the third. May be able to do so, as it just started. But he's threatening. Just keeping him busy, poking and prodding. Void Ray. Looking for anything it can find, but Dark smartly not putting too many overlords out there. The Oracle would have already spotted most of the overlords out of the map. Unfortunate. Does he have the charge up? Yes. I don't think there's any energy. He's just gonna burn through one. Goes for another. Well, kills 2 OVs. And now the Oracles come into the main, just burning through. Burninating up the countryside. Get off my queen, you bastards! Brenda, oh my, what the fuck? Sorry, I blacked out for... Roach Warren's on the way. Lair behind. Clearly not a glaive adept play based on the oracles. But now, more adepts sneaking in. Shading by. 2 drone kills. The gauntlet of queens and zerglings. Not great, not terrible. Dark at 45 drones against 52 probes, but it is a bit of a transitory timing here. Twilight and Forge, and a Robo's already done, so Creator clearly a bit more technologically advanced than he was in Game 1. Stasis goes down with the Oracle. That was ambitious. And, losing both the Oracles. He only had 2, right? He made a Void Ray there. No? He has a 3rd Oracle. But losing 2 Oracles for pretty much free is not ideal. They did their work, but keeping those Oracles alive is much more valuable than getting another kill or 2, or maybe even a Stasis. Trying to reset the target. Oh, what a save. Transfuses a drone. Check that off your bingo cards. Dark taking a lot. He lost 20 drones. Devastating. Creator moving out with a fierce army of 3 snow globes, an immortal, and 2 zealots. So that's certainly something. This is a real... Well, there's nothing that's gonna kill it, as long as he stays off the creep, but it does feels like he's almost taunting him with that. We'll see. 72 workers now for Dark, 70 for Creators. He goes for a 4th base, and he fills in all the splash damage. Templar Archives, Robotics Bay, and a 2nd Robo on the way. Warp Prism is nearly complete, and that usually indicates it's time to attack. Alongside now... It's going to be 6, 7, 8. And then, you know what? We'll just let it play out on the gateway timings. Meanwhile, Hive Tech, Lurker Den, as well as Hydraless Speed for Dark. Perfectly comfortable sitting back and building up. The Zerglings, caught by the snow globes, and the big blue ball of destruction. Tinted red here, but still blue, the energy. Disruptor and Storm on the way. Creator going into an Estrella level Battle Mage composition. So all he has to do is micro Sentries, Templar, Disruptors, and any Blink Stalkers and Charge... Well, he actually doesn't have Blink. Wow, this is an incredibly anti-ground army. There's a Colossus. All right, the Noah's Ark build coming together. Oh, yeah, sure. Why don't we just throw on the Fleet Beacon? Yeah, why not? Okay, while we're out here, just... anything we missed? Dark Shrine? He's pretty much getting every piece of tech he hasn't gotten in the 2 games before this. All right, he went Blink, and he went for Glaives. Now he has everything but blinking Glaives. Alright, double Robo Immortal. Robo Bay. A third Robo's on the way. It's going to be Mass Immortal into carriers? Maybe just a mothership? He didn't actually build any other Stargates, so that makes me think it's just a mothership. The tactical option here, and there it is. Mama ship in production. Vipers gathering energy. Slurping it out of the hatch. Good spotting here from the Zealots, acting like creep tumors almost. Hydras working their way through the rocks with the help of some Ravagers. Observer speed. Been a bit of a passive mid-game here, as neither player looking to be too hasty. There's still the Prism at the back, being annoying. He's going to recall it before something like a Viper can get a hold of it. Creator building the strongest yet smallest army he possibly could. Immortals, Templar, Colossus, Sentry, Disruptor. Some of the most expensive units in the entire game in such small packages. Vipers are clearly out on the field. The Hydras and Ravagers, and now we're nearly maxed out, so it's time to fight. Ring the bell, Jimmy. Okay. Dark Shrine on the way. Second. Stargate as well. Viper's looking for an opportunity. There was a Changeling in there. Yanks out an Immortal. Feedback's a bit late on the draw as he draws in the Colossus, the Disruptor, and an Immortal. And a reinforcing Nidus on the way. A tactical Nidus. The Storms try to ward things off. A Creator already on the back foot. The Templar, there's not that much energy. Does he even have a Storm? He's bringing more Storms down. Force Field optimistic at best. Another Force Field is really strongly suggesting these units don't come any closer. Dark just wades through the Storm. It's actually a lot of extra damage there. Another Nidus in the natural next to the Robos, which are particularly exposed here. The triple Robo Immortal, though. And Immortals are going to make quick work of that Nidus. Pops right back in. Was thinking about popping out, but doesn't find another opportunity. That Void Ray finding a lot of use now as an anti-Nidus option. The Mothership is out. 3 more Immortals. Oh my god, he has 10 Immortals in counting. He's going to have 13 Immortals. DT Blink and regular old normie vanilla Blink on the way. +2 air attack. And there's still no... Like, air attack for Mothership is like upgrading your pillowcase to do more damage. But, sure. Like little laser beams of confetti hitting you. As the Mothership doesn't even do enough damage to one-shot workers, which is kind of hilarious. Double Spire on the way. Archon taking the wrong path, and so is its spiritual brother, the Snow Globe. I mean, the Sentry. Get over here! The Mothership pulled in and knocked out, just like that. A line of spores, a mini Sporchard put together. A Warp Prism in the main. Dark Templar. But the Warp Prism itself being targeted and cancels the main warping. Creator losing key units left, right, and center as Dark builds 20 more Lurkers. Are you kidding me? He has 24 Lurkers. With 11 more, he's going to have 35 Lurkers. All right, that's a gratuitous. That is just an uncomfortable... That's more Lurkers than your body can handle. 35 Lurkers. Which, you know, 15 Immortals are good. But I've never seen this many Lurkers in my career. And, oh, the Viper's feedback. Where are the rest of the Immortals? He's not going to expect the next dozen Lurkers here. A lot of damage being dealt, but that's just so many. There are carriers on the way, but they're not out yet. He's trying to blast through. He's filling up the entire ramp with Lurkers. This is madness. No, this is darkness. The Lurkers are freaking out. They can't even burrow because there's no space. The Lurker traffic jam. Immortals are good against medium-sized groups of Lurkers. Not when the entirety of the army is Lurkers. I can't even. That's all I have to say about that. We've arrived! The Queen's Queens finally make a cameo appearance at the front. Double tactical Nidus. He's trying to flank. Carrier gets dragged in. The anti-air is Queens. But it's enough. Storms from the back. Lurkers eviscerated the army. But Dark just slicing. He's plopped himself down in the middle of the natural. He's made it his own and is just slicing through the entirety of everything here. Drawn and quartered. Creator still has 184 supply. But he needs to break this. The time for base trading has long passed. His base is being traded as we speak. The Queens reinforcing. Oh my god, you can consume the Nidus! Ah! My brain is exploding very slowly, but you can watch it happen in real time. He's using the Nidus, and wow, he just doesn't even bother. The fight starts and it ends just like that. You can consume them. I mean, I knew that. I've never but renewable energy source. Transfuse with the Queen, consume out of the Nidus. No other buildings can just pop up to be consumed. Oh my god, it's genius. Once again, 14 years. Oh, the Vipers haven't oh my, everything just dies. You just give it like, his supply goes down 50 instantly. Wow, that is a dramatic conclusion that brings us directly into our bonus game of Rogue versus Classic. Don't go anywhere without liking and subscribing, because I wanted to get a gauge of what more sane players. Well, I guess Rogue is the original Dark, which is a bit offensive to everyone involved. Rogue also a very killer instinct sort of player, but in a different way from Dark. Dark is like the Joker, whereas Rogue is like I'll come up with something. I don't know. Give me a... I came up with a bunch of ideas. I'm just coming up with Batman villains again, which are all Dark still. Rogue is the guy who... He's like a villain who doesn't monologue. Okay. Imagine if the Bond villain just shot Bond. Okay, that's Rogue. His claim to fame, being a world champion, but including GSL championships, where he beat Maru and he made it look like he was smurfing on the ladder. Maru comes in with this whole set of strategies, and Rogue is just like, roach timing, Nidus, roach timing. Like, but Dark also did that, and that's why I'm saying they're kind of similar. But the vibe's different. I think Dark is a better showman overall. He really leans in to that final boss nickname, whereas Rogue really leans into that beating your opponent feeling. But nowadays, so Rogue had his obligatory military service. He came back earlier this year, and unfortunately, if he had maybe another month or two, he probably would have qualified for the Esports World Cup. That's how he hasn't quite gotten back to that same level, and clearly he still has a bit of a ways to go, but he just has that killer instinct, and he's won enough, but he just didn't quite make it into the rankings, and he wasn't able to, well, he pretty much would have had to win GSL in order to make it. So that is unfortunate for Rogue. But Classic, on the other hand, managed to make it. One of the only two Protoss, two or three, who qualified. So, but where were we? That Dark series. I do hope, if Dark follows through on retiring after he wins the World Cup. It's like, how did that happen? It's because Oliveira, in a crazy upset, beat Cyril. Probably the only player who can at this stage. Maybe Clem on an off day. But, or a Clem when Cyril's on an off day. And Clem on his best day of his career, which he's had before. So hopefully he can do it again. But, and then, Dark gets to face off again against Maru and beats him 4-3 in the most epic finals that you'll watch here on this channel, as opposed to watching them live because, well, porque no los dos. I like to think I bring a different style of narrative to the games. I think there are plenty of casters that do a great job, especially for live tournaments, of casting live and appealing to a live audience and like following a tournament. But I decided a while ago, and hopefully you enjoy it, that wasn't what I was trying. I'm not trying to emulate the feeling of us having a live tournament right now. And I don't know who's going to win the next match. It's about good games for the fans and making your day a little bit better. Mostly because, obviously, these games have already been played at some point for the most part. But that doesn't mean they're not interesting and they're not fun and they can't be covered in a different way. And I think we're kind of classic. No creator with that Oracle mode. Bit of a mistake. Not a bit, a bite of a mistake there. But, what was I? Now that we've seen other newer RTS, but one thing that has not been replicated in any sort of similar game. The best replay interface I've ever seen in any game, like spectator interface, classic, is Dota 2. Unfortunately for Dota 2, it also contains Dota 2 players, which is its main drawback. But the interface and the UI, and both for spectating and for playing, is far and away the best I've ever seen. I wish we had something like that. But StarCraft 2, in terms of RTS, is far and away still by far the best. In fact, this is a custom interface that I had made because I liked having things like mine total and a few little details. I would probably adjust it a little bit if I thought about doing it again. It's based on the normal tournament overlay, but like I said, a few adjustments. But the fact you can do that is really cool. So, I don't know where I was. Well, so far, so standard. Looks like we're going to have that immortal charge lot style. So we're going to get a direct comparison between Rogue and Dark, and also Classic and Creator here. Classic is going for a very similar style to Creator in Immortal first into Charge and Storm against Hydras and Lings. Rogue is throwing some extra roaches in there as well, but it's actually going to be an incredibly similar unit composition on both sides at a very similar timing. Now, the one thing that Rogue is pretty notorious for is delaying the hive, which nowadays I think is almost always a mistake. Hive tech is just so good. Vipers are possibly the most important unit for Zerg at the later stages of the game. Just a couple Vipers can really change the entire fight, even in this matchup. So, but right now Rogue is going for the mass roach and maybe some hydras. Does he even have any? He has 9 hydras. He's going mass roach hydra. Looking to max out. He has only 68 drones. Oh my god, that'd let me in! $68 drones against... Oh, my life for ire. Who said that? Did somebody use a voice? I don't... There's changelings. That changeling spotting everything, but Classic quick on the draw with the storms. And melting through a lot of the Roach Hydra, but one Immortal down. No Archons merged yet, but another wave of charge lots. Infestation Pit is on the way for Rogue. But it's not the... And he starts the Lurker Den. It does feel like Rogue is... he tried his luck with the Roach Hydra, but quickly realized that it wasn't going to be enough. How about 35 Lurkers? Have we tried 35 Lurkers? Well, the lurker den on the way. Hive should be starting momentarily. There it is. Classic at 78 probes, so pretty comfortable on his end as well. Rogue 182 supply. If he's going to attack before the Hive tech kicks in, it would be now. The moment that Hydra speed finishes. Otherwise, you gotta sit back and wait for those lurkers to really kick in. 7 lurkers on the way. There's a small charge lock counter, but it's going to drag the roaches back. Assassinated Queen. Those lurkers barely finish and get away just seconds before the Templar close in. He's dropping creep at a potential 5th base location. Classic doing a good job of keeping that core army together. The Immortals and the Templar, and he's working on +2 ground attack. But a Spire is on the way for Rogue. Overlord just wandering through the base, checking for that Sky Toss switch, which is not happening right now, though Classic will probably be starting it soon. Assuming he doesn't press the issue on the ground. The Roaches and Zerglings headed towards the right flank, whereas Rogue is going to rely on the Lurkers to hold the line on the left. This is going to get real dramatic real quickly here. As the Roaches and Lynx, that's like half of Rogue's army supply, if not more. And the door is open, the Immortals! There is a potential for a recall, but this is not an easy army to recall with. He's going to be losing the pylons. Storms onto the drones and melts through 18 of them. Gotta be very careful with that observer, though. He does still have oracles. The Roaches and Lings are breaking into the buildings. A War Prism comes out, but the Robos themselves. He's still going forward. Classic. Not willing to come back to deal with this, but he's running out of a base to come back to. He's got to make a decision soon. He's trying to grind his way through the lurkers. Fleet Beacon on the way. The Roaches and Lings in the main base. Immortals blasting through. A couple cannons are not going to be enough, but they might delay it. And a recall. What do we have? The Templar storms. Get off my lawn. He gets out. He kills another hatchery. Rogue is down to 2 bases. The storms ward him away. And Classic kept all his bases alive. Objective gaming from our Protoss player. The Roaches are trying to save the day, but the Warp Prism saves the Immortal. And I think Rogue just kind of threw himself into this base trade, whereas Classic pragmatically took out the bases of his opponent and then came back and saved his economy. And right now, Classic has the army to beat. He has observers here. The lurkers are roaming around. More lurkers are popping out. He still has a couple oracles for revelation. The lurkers with a good concave on the high ground. But a very exposed base is going to be difficult for Rogue to defend while still maneuvering the lurkers around. Classic just needs to keep going back and forth. And if he catches Rogue once, there's no way he's going to rebuild this army. Rogue is backed up against his own hatcheries. There's not... Oh, there's plenty of Templar. I didn't see the ones to the north, and I don't think Rogue did either, as the storms wash over everything. Critical damage right now, and the lurkers aren't close enough to defend the base itself. Rogue melting away, but the lurkers are starting to slice into the Immortals. They don't get quite close enough, but the hatchery is exposed. The Queens are helping out. Classic's army is thinning, but so is Rogue's. Down goes the hatchery, and the economy with it. Rogue still has the army, but a carrier is on the way. Oh, a single carrier. Brenda. Templar Archives has to be rebuilt. The Robos have to be rebuilt. The infrastructure for Classic. Wow, what an exchange. Rogue still has a very solid army with a lot of lurkers. But any amount of carrier... This is one of the few scenarios where one carrier might be enough. We will see. He's going to try to rebuild a Robo. Oh, well, that's a Cyber Core, actually, there. He can't rebuild. Well, I guess he can rebuild a robo without a cyber core. He might have one in the main. But anyways, cutting off a lot of the lurkers here. Another storm, but he slices through the Templar. Those were the last Templar. He just rebuilt the archives, and now Rogue is on top of the base. Both bases in between it here. The area he cleaved open earlier is now the vulnerable point for Classic. But there's only 2 Hydras for anti-air. Eventually, the carriers will get through. The Hydras will be melted. The lurkers will kill the bases. Back at home, just 2 charge lots. It still could go either way. The lurkers are not dying quickly. More lurkers tried to make it down towards the 5th base. Rogue taps it out. It may look close, but if those lurkers aren't able to hit the economy, what does Rogue have left? These charge lots may actually kill some of the Hydras as well. Not quite, but Rogue has 50 drones. He's mining from 1 base. Classic has any more than 0 carriers. What a crazy game. Definitely a different style. Rogue not quite able to shove the lurkers nearly as hard as Dark was able to shove his lurkers in. But Classic also a lot more careful with his technical units. His Templar and his Oracles. He kept them alive, not the entire time, but the vast majority of it. In order to keep that very, very important unit composition, that very expensive unit composition alive. So we see, I think Classic, a slightly better technical Protoss, and Dark, the more technical Zerg. And at this level of StarCraft 2, technicality is what defines victory a lot of the time. Which sounds profound. Put that on a corporate PowerPoint or some shit. Jimmy, edit that out. All right. We're family friendly. Or at least your mom friendly. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully it made your day just a little bit better. We got the means of motivation. Be awesome to check out Patreon or YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. So, thank you for watching. Make sure to check out the second channel, Winter Gaming TV, if you're into more content. But if you're content with what you got here, that's amazing too. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.